Hey guys, it's Nicole. Welcome back to Chronicles of a Crafter. I'm sorry for the weird lighting, but it is 6:06 in the evening here in Arizona, so it's a little bit shaded and the sun is going down behind me, so the lighting is going to be a little bit off for this video. I do apologize for that. However, what I did promise you guys was I was going to show you how I made this cute little card front, and it's with alcohol inks, and I'm just going to show you guys the things that you're going to need in order to make this or something similar. There's no two that's going to be the same, okay? You'll never get to the same pattern or image. So I just wanted to show you guys what I'm using in order to create something similar. I am using Ranger's alcohol inks, and this one is crimson. This is sepia, I believe, and this is aquamarine. Okay, so these are the three colors that I'll be using. I'm not going to try to create a flower. I'm just going to show you guys the technique on how to create the flow of the alcohol inks on the specialized paper. So again, I did mention to you guys that there is a synthetic paper that you're going to need in order to get the alcohol to flow across the page. You're also going to need 91% isopropyl alcohol, okay? And this was the cheapest one that I can find. It was at my local Walmart. It's the largest bottle, 32 ounces. This is going to go a long way, okay? A little goes a very long way with the alcohol in this project. So you're also going to need a little palette. This has 6 little trays here, and you can pick this up, I believe 3 or 5 in a pack at the local Dollar Tree or whatever. This right here I've been searching for the longest, and I really want to thank the guys over at Brass and Bliss for providing them. However, I have not been able to find these anywhere else. On Amazon there is something similar, it's just not as simplistic as this, and this is really all you need. Is something very simple. You could probably get away with using a Q-tip or a paintbrush, okay? A very fine tip paintbrush, and that would also work. All right, so what we're going to do to begin, oh, and you're also going to need your blower. This is it's like a pump, right? And this is what you're going to be using to both dry your inks and blow the ink across the page in order to create some cool designs. So I also put a link down below in the video for finding this synthetic blend paper if you're unable to get it at Brass and Bliss or one of the other vendors that was at the craft show that I mentioned earlier. You would probably be able to get it on Amazon, which is what the link is down below in the description box. It's for some synthetic paper that you can find on Amazon. Alright, so just click that link. I don't get anything for it, probably just a couple of pennies in commission, and you guys pay the exact same price as whatever is listed on Amazon. So to finish up the project, you're going to need a jelly roll pen. If you don't have a jelly pen, this is just a white gel pen. It doesn't even have to be jelly roll. It could just be a regular white gel pen, and I'm using a black ink pen, which also works just as fine. So if you can find a white ink pen, go for it, right? Because that'll work as well. Alright guys, so here I have one of those pieces of that synthetic paper that I mentioned earlier. I cut this one down from 8.5 by 11 to 4 by 4 and a quarter, maybe 4.5 by 4 and a quarter. And basically what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to add some ink to it, and by doing so I'm just going to use some of this aquamarine blue. I'm going to place a little bit of it in my, as you can see, some of it's splattered on my paper. So I'm just going to place some of it into my little palette right here. I'm going to add a good bit of it onto the paper, and just making like little circles or blobs or what have you. Then going to use the puffer, right, and just dry it. So that's going to dry that little section right there. And then I'm going to use some alcohol. So this is the 91% isopropyl alcohol that I told you about. I just transferred it into this little bottle right here, and this is going to give me a precise little area of alcohol dispensed onto this paper. So I'm just going to put a couple drops right onto that blue section that I created, and then I'm going to use the puffer again, and I'm just going to blow it in various directions on the paper, right? So this paper is designed so that it can move the alcohol ink across your page without absorbing it. And I'll show you guys what the difference between an absorbed alcohol page versus this paper right here. So I'm just going to move my little circle over to this side, right? I'm just creating an extra little section right here, and I'm going to dry it with my puffer. Okay, once the ink stops moving around, I'm going to add some alcohol to it. 1 or 2 drops will be sufficient, and then I'm just going to use the puffer to move the alcohol ink across the page again. It's really simple. It's so simple. It's so simple to do, and I love the technique. I've never really done it before until I've attended that course or that workshop at the Stamp and Scrapbook Expo. So again, I'm just going to dry this, and then I'm going to add some alcohol to it. 1 or 2 drops will be more than plenty, and I'm just going to move this across the page some more again. So again, it's just, you're just using this puffing motion, and again, it's really simple. It's like you're just puffing the air across the room. So, but you have to move your hand with the puffing, right? So I'm going to add some more closer to this section right here where I want it to really spread out. Add a drop of alcohol. Oh, first I'm going to dry it. Right, and then I'm going to add a little drop of alcohol right there and get it to blow across the page. So what I'm really trying to do right here is just fill up there's Ghost. Ghost, stop it. I'm just really trying to fill up, Ghost, stop. Fill up this little section right here with the blue ink, and you can see what it ends up looking like. It's like this. So I'll just hold this a little closer for you guys. So yeah, this just basically just fills this little area right here with some really cool blue hues, and in various stages, right? So there's some solid blues, there's some faded blues, there's some even white blues in this area right here. So I'm just going to then add my brown. This is the color Sepia. Sepia is a color that a lot of photographers use to create like a brown image to a photo. I'm going to add a little bit of ink to my little paintbrush right here. I'm going to dry it, and then I'm going to add a little bit of alcohol to it. Just a couple drops, don't need more than that. And then I'm going to blow that across the page, and I'm going to blow it so that the blues and the brown mesh together a little bit. And I'm going to add some more brown. Let's add some right here. I'm going to dry it, and then I'm going to add a little bit of alcohol. So yeah, just a little 1 drop of alcohol will take this to a whole nother dimension. I'm going to add some more brown over here. So yeah, my little doggy, he's in the other room. When he hears me talking to myself, it's like, why aren't you talking to me? So he gets a little offended, and wants to be part of the conversation. So that's what that was all about. I just added some brown to this little area right here, a couple of drops of alcohol, and I'm gonna push this all the way into this blue section right over here. So again, it's just a matter of like moving the paper around as well as moving your puffer around to get all these different areas that you want covered with the ink. So again, just a little bit more brown down here. I'm going to dry it. And add a drop of alcohol. And I'm going to move this one this way. So yeah, this is the direction that I want it to blow in to match with the blue a little bit. I'm gonna add some more brown right in here. Dry it. So every time you do this, guys, it's gonna turn out different. There's no two patterns that's going to be the same, and you can do more or less depending on what you want to see on the page, right? So it's just really up to you. So this is what I have so far, and it's gonna look very different to what you're used to. So I'm gonna add a little bit more ink, the brown sepia, to my palette. I'm going to use my brown little brush here. I'm going to add some more brown down here. I know I'm out of focus just a little bit, only because this section right here has some ink on the board that I don't really want my paper to be in. So I'm going to wait till this section dries, and then I'll move my sheet back over here, and I'm going to add a little bit of alcohol to that. And I'm going to blow it in that direction. So this is what that's going to look like. Okay. So now we're going to work on I'm going to add some more blue to this. I'm going to use some blues down in here. Right. Add a little bit of alcohol after I dry this little section. And put a drop of alcohol right there on the page and push it. So I'm just pushing it in the direction that I want it to go in. I'm going to add some more blue down here. Dry it. Add some alcohol to it. And then push it in the direction that I want it to. So you can turn your page whatever direction you want it to go in, and that's gonna look really cute. Oh my gosh, I love it so far already. So from here I'm going to add some more blues. I'm going to add some blue down here. I'm going to try to dry this. And then I'm going to add some alcohol to it. Just a little splosh. I'm going to turn my page around and push the blue off the page this way. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing in this corner with some browns. Just add a brown little splotch right there. I'm going to dry it. And then I'm going to add some alcohol. It's like a three-step process, right? So I'm just going to push the browns this way, off the page in this direction, kind of similar to how I did the blue, and that's that. Alright, so this right here is pretty much dry already, right? So here we have some blues and browns on a page. You can stop right here if you want. Add a little stamp to the front of this, put a happy birthday sentiment across the front, and you're good to go. But I'm going to take this to the next level by adding some red to this whole project right here. So let's just see. I'm going to add some red to my palette. Just a couple of drops. Okay. And I'm going to take the red paintbrush that I've been using previously. Just add a little bit right here. Add some over here. And add some over here. Okay. Dry it with the puffer. And then I'm going to add some alcohol ink in the order in which I added the red to the paper. So I'm going to blow this in this direction. For some reason the red always looks like it's doing more work than any of the other colors to me. I'm going to add a little bit of alcohol on this one. Couple of drops and blow it in that direction. The red always seems to do more. For whatever reason, it just seems to like work the hardest. Okay, I'm going to add some alcohol over here. Just 2 drops or so. I'm going to blow this one in the opposite direction. I'm just going to blow this one back towards the brown section over here. Okay, I'm going to add some more red to like down here near the blue. And you're probably wondering, like, why don't you add the alcohol to the ink in the palette? Well, because the alcohol needs to dry and then be reactivated. So you dry it off first and then you reactivate it with the alcohol, the 91% isopropyl alcohol. And then that's what helps to glide the ink across the page. So I'm just making like a little camouflage, maybe a little tie-dye-ish looking pattern here. And then once I'm done with the red, I'll probably go back in with some brown or blue just to fill in some of the areas that I want to see more of. So here I'm just going to dry that. Add a drop of alcohol to it and then push it in whatever direction I want to see it in. So, okay, from here this would look really good on maybe if you had a die that you want to cut through. This would make a really good, like, you know, background for a die. If you want to, let me grab my brown. If you want to, oh, the brown's already dry. Let's add some more brown right here. This right here dries really quickly, so you want to work quickly in the whole process of getting the desired look that you're looking for. And again, you know, it doesn't take a whole lot of ink or alcohol to make this happen. This alcohol right here, this is like maybe a quarter of the bottle full of alcohol. It's gonna last probably 3 or 4 more projects. So therefore, this entire bottle of alcohol will probably last you thousands and thousands of projects. So that's just food for thought on that one. Don't go, you know, overdoing it with alcohol or thinking you need like 3 or 4 large bottles of alcohol in order to do this. It doesn't take that much. So yeah, I'm just filling in where I think needs some more ink and blowing it across the page. I'm going to add some blue down here in this little section. I'm going to dry it with the puffer, and then I'm going to add some alcohol to it and puff it across the page like so. Okay, And let's get some, I'm going to do some brown over here, this little section. I'm going to try to dry it, and then I'm going to add some alcohol to it and puff it across the page in this section. So basically you can move the paper around in whatever direction you want, or you can just move your puffer around to, you know, acquire the design that you're looking for. So basically what we have here is like a little bit of a tie-dye type of you know, design, where there's some there's various colors of inks in different areas. I'm going to add some blue right here because I think this section right here needs some. And just to dry up the rest of the blue that I have on my palette. Dry that off. Add a drop of alcohol. And then I'm going to push it in whatever direction I think it needs to go in. Okay. So here's a little bit of it's a little bit of a project for if you want to create something that you've you know, that you really haven't done before. This is a good way to play with the alcohol inks, try to create like a little tie-dye kind of pattern. I'm going to show you guys one more trick on how to create these little flowers that I made in my previous project here. I'm going to show you how to do this, and this is just some little a little bit of alcohol ink and some alcohol using the crimson color. Okay, so that's what we're going to do with this. So again, this will dry, don't worry about that, it'll dry and, you know, be gone, but you need this specialty paper in order to create this project. So I'm going to add some ink to my palette. I am going to use my red paintbrush, soak up some of that ink on there. I'm going to create a little floral base right here. Okay, I'll do a bigger section over here. Alright, I'm going to dry this with the puffer, the same technique. I'm just drying it with the puffer. And then I'm going to add some alcohol to this section right here. So it's not a lot, just a couple of drops of alcohol, and then I'm going to push the ink in various sections off the page. And again, you're never going to create the same thing twice. Okay, just be aware that it's never going to be the same two times in a row. All right, I'm going to add some more alcohol. Let's do some over here. All right, the more alcohol you add, the bigger your oops the bigger your design is going to be. All right, so I'm just going to soften this up by drying it right there, and then I'm going to add some alcohol to it. 1, 2, 3 drops of alcohol, and I'm going to push it in the direction of the previous flower. See how I did that? I just pushed it in the previous direction of that flower that I created before, and it's going to give me a nice little base of like a petal basically for my next flower. Add some there. Let's dry it and add some alcohol. 1 drop this time, and I'm going to push this that way. So here we go. That's perfect. Okay, and to fill in the flower at the top section, I'm just going to add a little bit of alcohol. I'm going to put a drop right there. I'm going to dry it. Sorry, my phone's ringing. And then I'm going to add a little drop of alcohol right there, and I'm going to blow this in various directions off the page, just like so. Okay, so what we're looking at right here is the base of a flower, which came out to me really, really pretty right here. So what I'm gonna do next, okay, we're done with the alcohol ink for now. I am going to take my solid ink pen. You can use, if you have a black ink or a black gel pen, go ahead and use that. I'm just going to use this one. I'm gonna add a little base right here to my flower. Right, so this is like the little base to the petal itself, to the rose petal. I'm gonna call this a rose. It may not be a rose exactly, but I'm just gonna call it a rose. And I'm just gonna fill this in with my ink pen, right? And then I'm just going to use my ink pen to create a stem. So there's that. I'm going to use my ink pen to create a couple of leaves. There's that. A little vein on the leaf. A couple of mini veins, right? And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. And then we're going to go this way. And then some mini veins like so. Okay, so now we have this, right? And I'm just going to use my jelly pen, my jelly roll, and just put a couple of dots all over here. Okay, so here's a part of the rose or the whatever flower this is. Leaning to the right. Okay, and then I'm going to go back in with my ink pen and then just put a couple of dots around there. So simple, guys, right? Like, first you create what you want to see, and then you finish it up with what it would almost look like in real life. And then you have yourself this little image right here. So that's pretty much all it is to do one of these projects. It's like so simple. You can just continue to add ink wherever you want to create more imagery of that particular color. You dry it, you add some more alcohol to it, and then you just push it in whatever direction you want it to go in. So there's that, right? I'm gonna add some more. I hope that's not it. This is the right color, okay? I'm gonna add a little drop right here. I'm gonna dry it. And I'm not gonna do anything with that. That looks really good. So this is basically what you're looking at in order to create something like really cool. I think my rose has another base over here, and that's what you can decide, right? So you can decide where your flowers have its base, you know, located. I like this little section right here, so I'm just gonna add another stem, right? And then from here I'm gonna add some more leaves and put some veins on it. And here I'm going to add another leaf, and I'm just going to add some veins on it. Okay, so now I just created two flowers just basically by adding a second base to the bottom of the rose, and wherever you think would need some additional enhancements. So it's really simple. It's really simple to do. Alright guys, I'm going to leave you guys like right here. I hope you guys have a great day. Go do something wonderful. Oh wait, before I go, let me just show you what happens when you don't use the correct paper. So this is the paper that creates the alcohol inks to move on the page. Okay, so we created this little tie-dye basically looking image, and you can then stamp whatever you want on top of this and then cut it out either with a die or just stamp it and create a card front, or you can go with something that looks like this, which is like more projected and a little bit more controlled with the puffer and the alcohol inks, you know. But this is what happens when you use paper that does not work with alcohol inks. This is what happens when you use paper that's not the synthetic paper that I mentioned before. It's very specific to the project. You have to use alcohol ink art paper in order to create something like this. So here is regular paper. This is just regular paper. As you can see, I put blue and browns on here. None of it worked out the way this worked out. You saw the technique I used in order to create this. Basically, the ink soaks through the page, all right? It doesn't move across the page no matter how much alcohol you add to it. The ink basically is just like, it sits on the top of the paper and then eventually just soaks through it like a paper towel, and this is what you end up with, right? So using the correct paper is what's going to help you create different the technique in which we ended up with this project, right? So this is basically my prototype. This is what I did prior to. I showed you guys this about a week or so ago, and I replicated something similar by doing almost the exact same technique, right? And this is how we created this, which is just basically a background sheet that you can then stamp on top of or die cut out, and it would make a really great, like, you know, card front. So very simple to do with the right paper, the right technique. I just want to add some more little stuff right in here. I think this little section just needs a little something, you know, and then you could just, you know, embellish it however you like. Like, you know, you can add some stuff up here. Like, it doesn't have to be anything that, you know, resembles real nature. You can make it very whimsical and make it your own. Again, guys, go try it. I'll show you the paper that I'm using. All right, it's this. I'll put a link down in the description box below just so you guys can find it really easily on Amazon, and go give this a try. It's super simple to do, and yeah, I hope you guys give this a try, and I will definitely talk to you guys in the next video. Go do something super crafty today. Go do something wonderful, and I will definitely talk to you guys in the next video. Stay naturally curious. Try this. This is so simple to do. Bye.